Live at 5, here we are. Social media audits, live at 5 weekly or weekday is what we're doing, which is cool fun. I've been lucky enough to hang out with some incredible humans over the last couple of weeks as we've launched our live at 5 free social media audits. Now, social media is a super strong calling card to grow your business. Everyone's here. All right, everyone's here. I haven't watched TV, paid TV, which is not saying that it's not a bad thing, but I just haven't watched it in 10 years, I think, since is the last time I've turned on anything to do with pay free to air TV. Right? I watch Netflix if I get some time, and then everything else is on the phone, right? Or everything else is online. So social media is one of the places that most of us hang out. And if you'd like to admit how long you actually spend on social media daily, most average Australians are spending, it used to be 20 minutes. It's now 2 hours a day minimum, and it's probably going higher. It's probably sitting at around 3 hours. So most people will sit, even if they are watching television, most people will sit with their phones and do scrolls while they're watching the screen as well, even if you are watching Netflix and watching other shows. So it's that powerful. There is something like 5 billion people that are using social media, and Facebook is still the biggest one. It's been here forever. I saw a really great post today, actually. Daniel Priestley is an entrepreneur that I follow quite a bit and have been lucky enough to attend some of his programs and sort of take on some of his lessons. And he's pretty spot on with a lot of the stuff he says. And he made a post today, or he made a comment today around Mark Zuckerberg spending millions and millions and billions of dollars for us to have a free tool to use to promote our business. And that's literally what we've got. So social media may feel like a bit of a task at times, and it is. It's like everything else. It has its moments. It all has its pros and cons. But it is a strong sales tool. It's a strong connection tool, a very, very strong marketing tool when used correctly. So what we're doing here is doing live audits of accounts to help just all of us, everyday heroes out here, get the best that we can out of our social media while it's here. And I say while it's here because it kind of feels like it's going to be here forever, but the world is changing. It wasn't here in 2002 is when it arrived. So it wasn't here then. And with the way that AI is going and the advancement of the tech space, there's a lot of stuff coming down the line. And I just wonder what social media is going to look like in, say, 2027, 28, 29, to the point where I was having a conversation the other day with somebody, and we booked a meeting for the 12th of November, 2032, because we thought it's going to look totally different by then. What's going to be around? We want to have a chat around it and chat around the changes. So the reason I say that is, let's get you optimized. Let's get you using social media to the best of your ability. Let's get you growing your business using it. And then let's go sit on the beach, right? That would be really nice. Ultimately, that's where I'd like to get to. And it means that we're just not online all the time, which can be toxic. Ultimately, can be toxic. So there's a lot of people that are here a lot of the time. It's one of the strongest ways to grow your business. The foundation of it, the reason that I'm really big on getting your profiles set up correctly is I actually put a post up today about it. I'm just looking for it here. We use social media for lead generation and specifically for outreach. So we create content, and then we also create messaging, and we hang out on the platforms where we can actually go in and DM and contact people that way. And we do it deliberately. We create the content deliberately. We have our accounts set up deliberately. And the reason that we do all that is, otherwise we're just sort of hanging out here, posting stuff, right? And we don't really want to do that. We want to have a reason for doing things. So I made a post today because we actually do lead generation and a whole heap of digital marketing. So we're not just social media. There's a whole arm to us. This is the post I made today. Let's see if it's going to work for me. It was all about lead generation and not leaving your leads on online. It's not going to sit for me. Tech. I can be like super smart. Can I change that out? No. All right. So it's all about never let your leads schedule appointments in your own Calendly. I see so many people do this. So if you are running lead generation, if you're running sales at all, if you're running pipelines, if you're doing anything in the digital space, never let your lead stay Never book your lead via the Calendly link. So never send across your Calendly link and say to your leads, book yourself in, right? They just won't. They'll disappear. And all that work that you've done by setting up your social media accounts, making sure they look the goods, running your DM outreach, making sure your content's awesome, all that work just goes down the drain because you're not booking people in. And that's what we want to do here. The first thing we want to do, and don't tell Mark Zuckerberg I'm saying this out loud, the first thing we want to do is take people off the platform as quickly as possible, because otherwise we don't own them. Mark does, right? So the idea of all the work that we're doing here is to get people into a conversation as quickly as possible and then into our email list or into our event or doing something else other than just hanging out and watching us on socials. That's the point of it, right? So that's why I'm here doing audits, so that your accounts look great. They're all lined up, ready to be shown. I think maybe if I go like this in a moment then. Yes. Genius. Just ask me. Yeah, lined up. That's it. That's all it's going to do. All right. I think I knew how to drive this stuff. So the reason that I'm looking at setting up your accounts so they look the goods is so that at least at that top part, that original stage where people come and hang out with you, right, where they land on your page, they know what you do, know who you're for, know whether you're for them, can make an assessment pretty quickly around whether you're for them or not, so whether you're attracting them or repelling them, and then they can make a decision to look further into you and do the number one job that social media is for, which is to connect, build that brand. We say that non-flippantly. Over time, it's to build a strong personal brand, which does take time, and it is strategic, and it's done, incrementally with content that comes out over time. But it's also what you do in the background, right? So it's also having the page set up, having the right calls to action in the right place, sending people into the DMs, having more conversations with them in there, understanding a little bit around customer journey without getting too technical, but understanding that when people land on your social media pages, so when they come to here, they need to see who you are, what you do. Are you for them? Should they move on, or should they take a closer look? This is the job of your social media. And then from there, they're able to drill in and hopefully end up having a chat with you. Do note that when they do land here for the first time, they're never going to buy from you. Social media is not going to sell the first time that people land with you. Nobody ever buys anything the first time they find it, unless they need it, right? If there's a diabolical need, like your tap is broken and the water is rushing out everywhere, you won't care who you need to speak to. You will get a plumber in as quickly as possible, right? No matter what it costs. That is generally, if there's an emergency, if you have a broken leg, you're going to drive to the closest hospital. You're just not going to argue, right? They are the only times where people do not care and do not need to know you first. Everything else, they need to get to know you, make decisions, think about you. And this is your 24/7 calling card that makes that easier. So this is why I talk a lot about this. This is why we need to get social media sorted, because we've got a finite time that this tool will work for us, so that we can, by the time it's not working, be sitting on the beach. So I have been lucky enough to be given Michael Cliff's account today. He has said, yes, you can look at my work. So thank you so much, Michael. Michael is actually my business coach. I would be lost without him. He is an incredible human and an incredible support, and doing amazing things with business owners. Let's see if I can get this to sit how I want. I don't really need me that big, right? Let's see if I can do that. Let's see if that works. All right. I'm going to try something else, actually. I'm just going to bring this page closer to me. So as I say, Michael Clift is my business coach. He's an incredible human, does incredible work with his clients. If you're looking for a business coach, run. Don't walk to work with Michael. He is that good. He has helped me immensely over the last 12 to 18 months. In fact, I can't believe how long we've been working together now. And an incredible human, is very, very invested in his clients. What he doesn't know about business isn't worth knowing. He thinks a lot, thinks all the time about it. Like I thought a lot about it, but I think he actually outthinks me in it. So he's doing incredible work with business owners across the country, and very, very passionate. So I'm very lucky to know him. And thank you very much for allowing me to take a look at your page today. So this is his personal account. When I say personal, he's flipped it into a professional, but it's not his business account. So just so we are clear on the differences. The group. He has a group, as you can see. Venture Cultivation Coaching is the business account. And great. So this is his business page, and I'll come back to that in a second. This is his personal account that's been turned into a professional one. And the way that you can tell is he's got followers here, not friends. So that is the main difference. And the other thing he's got is sort of this about section is different to the about section for a business page. You've still got followers. It's a slightly different setup, and you can do different things with a business page. The one thing you can't do with it is DM people directly. You have to wait for them to DM you. So out of all of the platforms, we tend to not use Facebook business pages for outreach because we can't. We have to wait for people to message us, and we won't do that. We'll reach out to them first. So that's the only reason, or the main difference between these pages now. And also these professional accounts have allowed creators to start to earn money through the work that they do in the creator studio of the background, which is very lucrative if you're doing anything like that, to get Facebook to pay you for the work that you're doing, right? But anyway, let's take a look at Michael's account. So the first thing we're going to look at is he's got his name here, right? And a headshot that shows him and that we can start to connect with him, and that's what we want. The beautiful hero image at the back here is nice and dark with the words standing out around what his offer is, or what he's about, or what you're going to get if you work with him, right? So predictably grow your 2 million plus business by 2 to 5x without chaos or burnout using proven systems. Now, if you're sitting at a 2 million revenue as a minimum, and you hear without chaos or burnout, number one, right? Like getting to the 2 million in revenue can be pretty hectic, right? If any of you are in that position, drop an emoji or something somewhere, right? But getting to 2 million when you're first starting out, if you're bootstrapping it, or just even if you've got funds to get it going, if you've got funds to get it going and you're ready and you've got a really strong plan, it's probably not going to hurt as much. But if you're bootstrapping, figuring it out as you go, deciding one day that you wanted to create a business and just trying to figure out systems, processes, what you've got in the market that's going to solve some problems, or what's the gap that you can see, right? And how can you fill it? All of that kind of stuff. So if you're a startup looking for MVPs and all of that kind of thing, it's a really difficult thing to get off the ground. And even if you have got funds behind you, and even if you have got strong business experience and you've got a good idea, it's still, it's not an easy thing to grow business. A lot of entrepreneurs out there, you hear it all the time. Business isn't easy. If it was, everyone would do it, but it is so worth it. It's incredibly rewarding, and it's one of the best things that you can do in your life. My beautiful best friend Tara has just decided to join us on our live. Hi Tara, how you doing? So on FaceTime though, you should come on. Oh. Who is this? Oh, there's also, she's got a dog leash with Rolo written on it, which is not my favorite chocolate in the world.
The universe was telling me to call you.
Okay. Talk to you soon. Tara and I catch up on TikTok if you ever want to do that live. So as I was saying, right, if you've got a business that you're trying to get to 2 million in revenue and you've got there, right? So if you've managed to get a few systems in place, maybe get a couple of team members, start to dial in who you're actually working with, start to understand what you're doing and what you're selling, which, takes some time, particularly as you start to figure out who are good clients, who are probably not right fit, as you say yes to some, no to others. Perhaps you get better at what you're doing. Perhaps you start to be the best in the market because you're the one that's sticking it out the longest. Right, all the things that go into getting to a 2 million in revenue, right? It's a lot. there's a lot of chaos and there's probably some burnout, right? And there probably aren't too many proven systems. So it's a great line here if you're looking to exhale and have these things, right? So you're looking for something predictable in business, right? Because like, who likes surprises? And if you're at 2 million, right, and you can 2 to 5x your revenue, then it's worth taking a look at. So that statement there is a really strong statement for anybody in that position, or anybody that's close to that position or is trying to get to that position, right? If you're past that position, Michael might not be for you. You know, if you're sitting at 50 million rev, then you're probably not sitting here on Facebook, you know, looking at some things. Facebook has a certain demographic. Having said that, in the US, most of the top 1% earners are actually on Facebook when it comes to e-coms and lead generation that we do with ads in the US. We'll actually go for the high top income earners. So, you know, that was probably a bit too flippant to say that. So with Michael's account, right, he's got a beautiful headshot. You can see who he is, nice and clear, easy to understand. And he's actually got one of his workshops in the background here that sort of support what's going on with this product. So this is his Perth mastermind that he has once a month. So he's in the room here, and he's in the room in the background here with attendees. So that's just over the, you know, over the background there. And then obviously predictably grow your 2 million plus revenue business. So that's the offer. If that's you, you'll hear it. If that's not you, you won't. So this is gorgeous. Stands out really well, easy to read, in his brand colors, rocking and rolling, really nice. We come down here into the about section, so helping 2 million plus service businesses, business owners scale predictably and profitably without chaos. So the whole chaos word is just delicious, right? Because there's so much that goes on at the start, and if you can keep it clear, or as clear as possible, you're on your way. Other things are, you can say he's talking about he's a founder and he's an entrepreneur, so that is where he sits, calling himself an entrepreneur. He could lean in and call himself a business coach, a fractional CFO, right? Not a fractal, as I like to call him. You know, he's calling himself an entrepreneur. That sort of lets you know where he sits, and he's leaning into the fact that having this title allows him to talk about this stuff. So those two marry up. He could say business coach, or he could say consultant or something like that as something else here as well. Letting you know he's in Perth and that he's got his beautiful wife, Laura, and the guys. So this is great. It's a gorgeous setup. The only other thing we're going to look at is the about part. And a lot of people forget to fill this in. So he's got his founder at Venture Cultivation Coaching telling you when. So you're able to start to systematically think about, does this add up? Does this add up? Does this add up, right? All these small little yeses that you need to prove to yourself that this guy's for real. So that helps. And then he's just got some private sort of space here. It just, you know, leans in. It just helps. It helps make him human by him having his wife and family here. Yeah, this is cool. Not many people fill this out, right? So he's got some experience here, which is awesome. So helping 2 million plus in revenue business owners achieve predictable growth without the chaos. What I do, I transform operational chaos to scalable, predictable growth. He so does. He helps business owners reclaim 10 hours a week. Oh, it's a lot, right? Aligning marketing, sales, and operations, client successes. So he's also got some tiny case studies here that you could read up on if you wanted to. So this is incredible. Little tiny one-liner case studies. Like, how cool is that? Helped business owners take stress-free 5-week holidays while their business thrived. How many business owners out there? How many of you guys could say you could take 5 weeks off and your business still thrives, right? Be nice. So he's got small little case studies here, and then also why work with me, right? So answering any sort of niggling questions in here if you're drilling in. So if you loved this, right, and you started to drill in, you'd read this and start to learn a little bit more about him. So that's awesome. So the about section's cool, set up really well. The only thing you probably need in here is an email so that we can contact you that way, Michael. That would be the only thing that you would need at this stage. Oh, hang on a sec. Let me take that back. Taking it back. Got everything here, all the places, including his birthday, just so you know. Where to find him, which is great with the website. Mobile's at the top, and you can get him on LinkedIn and also Instagram. bouncing between LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook is generally pretty cool. When you meet someone in person, just say, hey, are you on LinkedIn? Hey, are you on Facebook? And just connect that way, because once you're connected, your content will start to talk to them more and more. So from a audit perspective, he's crushing it, right? He's got a beautiful call to action up top, or a beautiful, actually doesn't have the call to action. So he's got a beautiful statement. This is what we do. He could have a call to action here saying DM me for more, or DM me to make an appointment. Great headshot. A nice about section clarifying what we're saying up here again. So just doubling on the messaging, easy to understand what he's doing. And then when we go into the about section, we can get everything we need, particularly this part. Super valuable. So that is his personal account, which is awesome. And then with his business one, which looks only slightly different, because this hat is actually part of his brand. So he's got a couple of things coming out around the Don't Be Shit show, if I can say that out loud. And that hat actually got me through a lot of scary stuff when I didn't want to do things, right? So there's a story there that I'll let him tell one day. So he's got the same conversation here as he does here, which means it's just continually reiterated. Wherever you find him, you'll get the same messaging, which is great, right? So we're not confused. Get proven growth strategies delivered straight to your inbox. DM me for the Don't Be Shit show. So he's just started his Don't Be Shit show newsletter, and he will be turning that into a podcast, and it's going to be great fun. So as you can see, the brand starts to take on its own life. Gorgeous story around that hat too, the way that it's come out, because I'll let him tell that, but it's now starting to take on its own life. It's become part of his brand, which is unbelievably cool. Now he's got a newsletter, and he's giving you some instructions. So predictably grow. So on his business page, right, perhaps he would want to bring in that same headshot, I would suggest, just to unify it so we're not slightly confused. Because the minute that there's that slight bit of confusion, that's it. We sort of lose the flow, right? It's not so much we lose trust, but we're just like, we've got to think for a second and off we go, right? So we could change that to this photo and just keep that together. Got the same messaging here, which is super cool. We might just make that slightly bigger, and then this slightly bigger, but it's probably going to sit really well on phone. So get proven growth strategies delivered straight to your inbox every week. DM for access. So there is the call to action, which is fantastic. Got the same intro that's happening here. Got all the information here that I need, which is absolutely cool. And if I come to the about section, all the details are here, which is fantastic. This is what we want. So from a business perspective, both of his Facebook accounts are great. I would just change out the photo here and make it the same, and maybe make that slightly bigger, but maybe on mobile it looks great. And honestly, all we do is optimize for mobile, nothing else, right? Because the 99% of our marketing is done on mobile. So that's about it for tonight. If you would like your accounts audited, click the link where all good links are kept. If you would like to learn how to do this, so if you would like to learn how to have a beautiful hero image like this, or like this, right, and have a gorgeous headshot or a logo in here and have it on brand, if you'd like to know how to have all of this set up so that it's sitting correctly like this, and actually plug it in and then know that it's right, and if you'd like to have 3 months worth of content nailed in about an hour and a half, join me for my workshop on the 7th of November. It's the social setup, and it's literally that. It's how to set up one of these pages, how to set up a brand kit in Canva, and then how to walk away with 3 months worth of content. It's for business owners that are just starting out. So if you're brand new, you're figuring it all out, just want to, sidetrack and boycott the 5 years that I've put into making this happen and just get it done, let's go. Let's set you up for 2025. Again, DM me if you'd like to get involved in that. It's the 7th of December. It starts at 2 p.m. That's a Saturday, 2 p.m. Sydney time. Live, 10 people in the room only, so that we can get the most out of it and we crush 2025 for your social media. So that's all I've got to say about that. If you'd like an audit, you know what to do. If you'd like a workshop, you know what to do. If you've got any questions around all sorts of things, drop them in the chat below. I've got a few awesome guests coming up next week that I am just finalizing. And if you'd like to hang out on TikTok, we go live over there too on Monday nights. So loads of fun. Anyway, have a great week. Have a great evening. I'll see you tomorrow.